Well, now to the Tasmanian capital of Hobart, a city of enormous charm, from its waterfront restaurants, art galleries and marketplaces here around Constitution Dock to the stunning buildings of the former penal colony just south of here at Port Arthur. Well, to give you an idea of just how changeable the weather can be here in the Tasmanian capital of Hobart, this is Mt Wellington. It's the 1,200-metre mountain that overlooks the capital of Hobart way down here. Can snow any day of the year here. It looks like it's just about to do that. We're going to cycle off here, off Mt Wellington, right down into Hobart. Let's go. Jimmy, lovely day for a bike ride.
Beautiful day for it, Greg. It's a lovely, crisp morning up here at Mt Wellington. No snow as yet, but could happen at any time.
Any second. Now, we're going to get warm going down here, or will we? Because we don't have to pedal much. It's all freewheeling, isn't it?
Absolutely. 22 kilometres of downhill, right down into the centre of Hobart CBD, Greg.
All right, Jimmy, we see the vegetation changing. Snow gums still.
Snow gums still here at this point in time. They're a beautiful, beautiful, hardy tree, built to withstand in excess of 200-kilometre winds, which we're getting a few gusts up here today. And
200 kilometres
200 kilometres up here. And snow for maybe 3 to 4 months of the year, Greg.
Now, the currawongs are singing.
They certainly are. A really, really good indicator that there's rain on the way.
They're everywhere. Look at all these birds in the trees here. Look at them. Oh, look at that. There's Hobart.
And the beautiful views of Hobart opening up for us here on our left.
It looks sunny down there.
Yeah, it probably is, and about 10 degrees warmer down there than what it is up here, Greg.
I'm braking all the way, you know.
Yes, yeah, your fingers will definitely get a workout, but your heart rate should stay nice and low.
And the water coming out of these little falls here, so fresh.
Beautiful natural spring there. A lot of locals come up to get their weekly rations of beautiful fresh water.
Now, nice to get in to the vegetation on those little fire trails.
Beautiful getaway off the road, away from the cars.
Yep.
20 minutes from Hobart, you've got trails crisscrossing all over the place.
Freewheeling down the mountainside brings us into suburban Hobart. Plenty of gorgeous historic buildings here, including the Cascade Brewery.
Cascades.
Cascades. Australia's oldest brewery, started in 1824 and still running.
Still brewing beer.
Still brewing beer.
Brewed beer right at the end of those devastating bushfires back in 1966.
Yes, that's correct. Managed to save one of the vats of beer, sent it off to the Bogues company up north, rebottled and labelled, kept us in beer until we got it rebuilt.
Excellent. Now, these walls are all that remain of what they call the female factory?
This is correct, yes. This is where all of the women and children were housed back in the penal days.
So a hard, hard life for the female prisoners that have been transported from Britain.
Absolutely, yeah. This was a working factory, and Bryce Courtney's book, The Potato Factory, is actually based on some of the hardships that were endured in these four walls.
And further down here, Port Arthur.
That's right.
Further downhill, an absolutely exquisite collection of cottages in a small circular street.
Absolutely charming cottages in this particular circuit.
Stunning cottages in and around Arthur Circus. It's named after Governor Arthur. He bought this property in 1829 and sold it off 20 years later.
So around about 1850 these were built, and this was a slum to start with.
Correct, yes. Sailors, whalers would have resided in these cottages, nice and close to the docks.
And these days, highly sought after.
Highly sought after. Beautiful historical cottages, really luscious setting.
Finally, the waterfront.
Hey, we've done it. Mt Wellington, 22 k's away.
That's correct.
Constitution Dock, which is where the Sydney to Hobart yacht race finishes, right here.
Absolutely. At the moment, we've got plenty of fishing boats in here. It's a very safe and secure port for a lot of the local fishermen to be able to anchor their boats. And fantastic fish and chips, great seafood.
And all of these fishing boats here will be moved out of the harbour, cleared, so that all those boats that have sailed in from Sydney around New Year's Eve can dock right here.
That's right. We've also got the Melbourne to Hobart boats coming in around that time of year as well. It's a real buzz of activity.
I can see over here the vessels that service the Antarctic, the Australian Antarctic Division vessels.
That's correct, and the Australian Customs boat, regular stopover point on the way down to Antarctica.
And some beautiful square riggers here.
Yeah, there's a lot of history in and around here. We've also got a tall ships festival when some beautiful, beautiful old wooden boats make it down this way as well. And definitely some of the most beautiful boats in the world have made it through Hobart Port.
Leaving my bike to explore the waterfront on foot, I'm taken by these statues. Penguins to please other bird life. Seals for the children. And this one, my hero, the most famous of all Australian photographers, Frank Hurley. Coming on a century ago, Hurley sailed out of Hobart with Douglas Mawson's Australasian Antarctic expedition. Today, art students have adorned Frank and his faithful dogs with some woolen garments for those frosty Hobart mornings. Overlooking all of this, a pub dedicated to the inebriated sailors who once quenched their thirst here. These days, Hobart is a far more peaceful place, with art a dominating factor. First, through its centre for the arts. Next, via this hotel, built in an old jam factory, and these days exhibiting the works of some of Tasmania's finest artists.
Matt, everywhere we look in this hotel, paintings on the walls, in your bedroom, in the reception, 300 works of art?
That's right, over 300 works of art throughout the hotel, all Tasmanian, and really our goal with art in the hotel is to lift the profile of what's happening in the contemporary art scene in Tasmania at the moment. So we have high-profile artists like John Lendis here, but also many artists that are just budding straight out of university, looking for a spot to display their wares. So we're happy to do that. The art community in Hobart, it's been a little bit of an underground scene, I think, in Hobart to some degree. Now, through Salamanca Place and the markets at Salamanca and the Tasmanian University Art School next door, we're seeing that profile raise. So it's great to be a part of that.
Matt, some interesting pop art here, and you say this artist is only, what, 23 years old?
23, yes. He's actually the youngest artist that we have on display, from virtually straight out of the University Art School right next door. Yeah. And quite a lot of award-winning art, very impressive for such a young chap.
And all of the bedrooms, of course, have magnificent works of art on the walls. The original sandstone blocks here dating back to, what, 1823?
1823, that's right, Greg, yes. Yeah. We're actually on reclaimed land here, and this is one of the oldest buildings in this area, originally known as Wapping. This room's actually fallen, probably about 20 centimetres or so over the years.
Which is why we're on a slant. I almost feel like I'm going to fall forwards here.
Yes. Well, the architect's brief was to touch nothing of the existing heritage and showcase it as best possible.
Next time we visit Hobart, the bustling Salamanca markets and the historic Port Arthur penal colony. In the next series of Travel Oz, the extremes of Australia. Australia's Antarctic territory. The Simpson Desert. And the wild brumbies of the Snowy Mountains.
And that is this episode of Travel Oz. I'm Greg Grainger. Happy travel!